welcome to Batica Buys. Each week on our show, we spotlight species from the IUCN Critically Endangered Red List. These are plants and animals with decreasing populations, nearing the edges of extinction. So we'll share species research, information, and conservation proposals. Then we'll spend part of the show opening a space for contemplation and awe. We'll perform a soundscape of gentleness and reflection and delight, and maybe of grieving. Without conservation activity and significant societal shift, many of these species may not survive the 21st century. So perhaps we might acknowledge their journey with a moment of our attention, a recognition of our kinship, and with a commitment to personal and systemic change. Thank you for listening. On today's show, we consider the Okinawa Sumire. The Okinawa Sumire is a critically endangered flowering plant native to the Ryukyu Islands of Japan in the Pacific Ocean, specifically the island of Okinawa, roughly 400 miles southwest of the Japanese mainland. Its scientific name is Viola utchinensis, and it was first described in 1938. The Okinawa Sumire is a small, evergreen perennial in the violet family, with a creeping, low-growing form, reaching heights of roughly 8 inches, but many individuals, specifically those most exposed to wind and salt spray in their coastal cliffside habitat, only reach 2 to 4 inches in vertical height. So instead, the plant grows laterally, spreading horizontal along the rock face, with thick branching roots that snake into cracks and fissures in the stone, anchoring against powerful ocean winds. The Okinawa Sumire grows clusters of thickened, deep green heart-shaped leaves with a waxy sheen, an adaptation to help prevent water loss, transpiration, and providing protection from harsh sunlight and salt spray. They are an evergreen. They do not shed leaves in autumn or winter, instead retaining chlorophyll and photosynthesizing all year long. They bloom from February to April, producing light blue, pale purple, purplish white flowers, each about 1 inch in diameter, with 5 petals growing from the ends of long, slender stalks. The Okinawa Sumire is likely pollinated by bee or small butterfly and moth. Their pale petals are lined with darker purplish nectar guides. Nectar guides are veins or patterns or markings on a flower's petals, visual signals that help pollinators quickly locate the flower's nectar. like directions, like a simple map that indicates where to find nectar. And in doing so, the bees and butterflies also inadvertently collect and distribute the flower's pollen. So once pollinated, the Okinawa Sumire produces small, round, dehiscent fruit full of tiny black seeds. Dehiscent describes how the fruit, when mature, dries out and splits open to release its seeds. The seeds fall into the cracks and crevices of the limestone cliffside, where they are further distributed by ants. This is called myrmekori, ant seed dispersal. The seeds have an elaiosome. This is a small, nutrient-rich appendage, and the worker ants will drag the seeds to their nest to share this food with their colony. They consume the elaiosome, but the seed coat itself is too thick and tough for the ants to crack, so they simply discard the seed, discarding it underground and ideally in good conditions for germination. In the dream, a limestone cliff, a kind of monument, a stone record of a millennia of ocean life, raised from the sea by incomprehensible forces. Rock is kissed by the ocean's salty spray, and to the west, a blueness unbroken waves in sky. And there on the cliff face, a button of purple, a tiny, soft violet, flirting with the bees, serving supper to the ants, here at the edge of the world. In the dream. The Okinawa Sumire is native to the island of Okinawa in the Ryukyu archipelago, roughly 400 miles southwest of the Japanese mainland. Okinawa is fairly small, roughly 65 miles long by about 10 miles wide. The northern half of the island is relatively undeveloped and sparsely populated, while the southern parts are quite urban, housing over 1 million people. Our Okinawa Sumire is found in just one location, in the middle section of the island, right on the western coast. It grows on limestone ocean cliffsides, in the crevices of raised coral reefs. So, raised coral reefs, let's do a little geology. Coral reefs are bustling underwater colonies built by small invertebrates called stony coral polyps, who extract calcium carbonate from seawater to construct these hard protective skeletons around their soft bodies. As generations of these stony coral polyps live and die, their skeletal remains accumulate, layer upon layer, gradually building up the structures we call coral reefs. This process can take thousands, even millions of years as the reef slowly grows upwards and outwards. over time, and this is a long time, the spaces between the coral skeletons become filled with sediments, sand and the remains of other marine animals. It becomes more densely packed. Simultaneously, dissolved minerals in the seawater seep into this porous framework. These minerals then crystallize and bind the sediments and coral skeletons together. Meanwhile, the weight of these accumulating layers, combined with the pressure of the water above, compresses the coral structure, gradually transforming this loose, porous, once organic material into solid limestone rock. In the case of Okinawa, the once coral, now limestone formation began developing roughly 1.5 million years ago. And then roughly 450,000 years ago, tectonic activity lifted the seabed in this region, raising the formation above the water's surface, creating islands, the Ryukyu Islands. So then exposed to the air, the limestone is weathered and eroded by rain, wind, and waves, carving the rock and creating jagged crevices, cliffs, and caves. These are raised coral reefs. And in the cracks of that limestone grow the tiny purple blooms of our Okinawa Sumire. The climate in this coastal region is subtropical, with hot, humid summers and mild winters. Summer highs reach the low 90s Fahrenheit, while winter lows rarely dip below 50 degrees. Rainfall is abundant, averaging 80 to 100 inches per year, with a rainy season from May to June. The Okinawa Sumire shares its coastal habitat with sago cycad, warbling white-eye, common moorhen, slender green-winged grasshopper, rice-field frog, sea hibiscus, sword-tailed newt, Japanese fig, western honeybee, Ryukyu flying fox, Korean mulberry, Okinawa tree lizard, plains cupid, Asian house gecko, small Indian mongoose, crimson marsh glider, wild boar, screw pine, umbelled rock jasmine, Okinawa thistle, Joro spider, blue rock thrush, white flowered black mangrove, giant Asian mantis, coastal hog fennel, green sandpiper, and many, many more. The Okinawa Sumire faces two anthropogenic, that's human-caused, threats. First, poaching. The Sumire has historically been illegally collected from the wild for cultivation in ornamental gardening and for medicinal use. Today, the plant's rarity and beauty continue to make it a target for illegal extraction. And human-induced climate change, resulting from a persistent over-reliance on fossil fuels, is a looming threat. The Okinawa Sumire's limited range and low population are at risk from extreme weather events, which are increasing in frequency and severity due to global warming. A single extreme weather phenomena, a strong tsunami, a rock slide, could abruptly drive the Sumire to extinction. Fortunately, the habitat of the Okinawa Sumire is considered a national monument by the Okinawa Prefecture, and its entire range is protected in the Okinawa Kaigan Quasi-National Park. Collecting and trading the wild species is wholly illegal. There are off-site seed banking and cultivation programs at the Okinawa Churashima Foundation Research Institute and at the Tsukuba Botanic Gardens outside Tokyo, with living collections under active study. Nevertheless, the Okinawa Sumire has been considered critically endangered on the IUCN Red List since 2016, and their population is currently in decline. Our most recent counts estimate less than 200 Okinawa Sumire remain in the wild. Information for today's show about the Okinawa Sumire was compiled from American Journal of Botany, Volume 62, Number 7, from Flora of the Ryukyu Islands, from iNaturalist, from the International Journal of Plant Sciences, Volume 185, Number 5, from Acta Phytotaxonomica and Geobotanica, Volume 7, Number 2, from Plants, Volume 11, Number 17, from the IUCN, from the Violet Chamber of Flower Photo Gallery, from the Science Bulletin of the College of Agriculture at the University of the Ryukyus, Volume 52, from the Bulletin of the American Rock Garden Society, Volume 43, Number 2, from the U.S. Forest Service, from the Nordic Journal of Botany, Volume 30, and from Wikipedia. And so now I would like to improvise some music in hopes of making space to be in contemplation of the other beings with whom we share our earth, like the Okinawa Sumire. I do not intend to force meaning upon or extract meaning from the Okinawa Sumire. Instead, I want this music to simply express my awe for all life. And so I will pause in this space of sound and reflection, and I warmly invite you to join me. I honor the lives of all Okinawa Sumire. I will commit their name to my record. I am so grateful to have shared time on our planet with this beautiful being, and I lament the ways in which I and my species have harmed and diminished this species. I grieve. And so in the name of the Okinawa Sumire, I pledge to reduce my consumption, my carbon footprint, and my wastefulness. I pledge to acknowledge and attempt to address the costs of my actions and inactions, And I pledge to resist the harm of plant and animal kin and their habitats by individuals, corporations, and governments. I forever pledge my song to the witness and memory of all life, to a broad celebration of biodiversity, and to the total liberation of all beings. This has been Bad at Goodbyes. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let's take care of each other and all